Welcome to a demonstration this morning on the Fabric Filter Newsletter Abstracts and Networking Directory, which we packaged as the Fabric Filter Knowledge System. This is a service that we have actually been providing since 1976, and we are covering the fabric filter industry, which is also called dust collection around the world. And this includes the media, actually starting with the fibers and the, even before that, with the resins and the microglass and the fibers, and then into the media, into the finished filters, and all the applications around the world. And we have a monthly newsletter that we have been publishing every month since 1976. And so you can see this is issue 427 of May 2011. And so here is an order, for instance, that Babcock and Wilcox has. There haven't been that many waste-to-energy orders recently in the U.S., but things are changing. Of course, there's lots of them around the world. And fabric filters are used now almost universally for all the waste-to-energy projects. And many of them, as you can see here, are using carbon injection. So that's an interesting challenge. It does increase the pressure drop across the bags. And in some of these, particularly in Europe, they're actually using bag houses in several different locations, one for the primary fly ash collection and then another one just for the carbon. In the power industry, that's called Toxicon. So there's a lot of activity going on in the cement industry right now. We're working closely with the Portland Cement Association. Here's an award that Turbosonics has received with a cement producer to remove SO2 and NOx. And that's another thing, that the fabric filters are now being used in what they call dry scrubbing. So you get, in addition to capturing the particulate, you're actually capturing the reaction between lime and SO2, which forms calcium sulfate, and it's a dry granular product that's captured in the fabric filter as well. We get into the commercial news too. So here's a new collector that's being launched by Donaldson Torit. Tests are ongoing on a thermal pleated filter element. And the significance of this one by GE is that the mercury emission reduction is significant. So we've just, by the way, are in the process of doing a video recording for W.L. Gore in Chinese on a media they have for mercury reduction that specifically targets the mercury in the vapor phase. So we, of course, get into the regulations as well. We're deeply involved in the PC, the utility MAC right now, and there's a projection there. There could be as many as 100,000 megawatts of new fabric filters, which would be huge for the power industry just to meet the toxic metals requirement. And to do that, they're using particulate as a surrogate, so there's very low emissions there. But we also get into the regulations for PVC facilities, as you can see here. And then we're tracking penalties. And so that gives you one issue. Let's just take another issue so you get an idea of what might be in it. We're tracking the lawsuits that EPA undertakes to bring where there have been violations of the law. And this, of course, it's in this case, it's new source review. But we're looking at this around the world. So we're, writing about certainly some of the larger Chinese companies. Fujian Longqing is a major supplier of emission control system and is actually on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. And so the Russia has, and certainly everywhere around the world, fabric filters are being used in the steel industry. So whether it's India or Russia, there's a fairly significant fabric filter market just there. So we get into some of the arbitration and lawsuit types things. This was a big lawsuit that was won by NORAD on activated carbon injection. And when things are they're big acquisitions, and here's a divestiture and an acquisition, Pentair and North Clean Technology. We're actually tracking a lot of the exhibitions around the world, so filtration exhibitions, bag filters, Shanghai, and other things like that. And of course, upcoming right now would be the Air and Waste Management Show here in the United States. So again, the EPA actions, sewage sludge incinerators, where they would be using fabric filters, although they prefer to use precipitators because of the fire hazards and so forth on incinerators. A lot of things going on biomass and waste to using biomass as opposed to some other fuel. We're tracking all that as well. So you can see these are some of the things that would be in our Fabric Filter newsletter. And again, you can go all the way back to the beginning here. You can go back to January 1999 online, and we can go back to 1976 on other applications. But a lot of these things can still be useful historically to find out, this is the point which MFRI acquired Nordic Air back in 1999. So that's one way to look at the information. Another way is to go actually in under the abstract, so you get those as well. So these would be articles that appeared in various different magazines or speeches that were given. Here's one in Iron and Steel Technology, which you can track down. We can also help you with through our library to acquire these things. There's a charge. You have to pay a royalty to the magazines in some cases. But here is an article in Iron and Steel Technology. A lot of these that are government publications, of course, are directly accessible. And, for instance, from the Federal Register here, the hazardous air pollutants. So we are tracking these on a monthly basis as well, and we go all the way back with these. And what that allows you to do then is you can go back and search the entire web. So you can search the web just randomly by any kind of a number. So if you want a center plant, for instance, application, you go on under center, and you can see these various different articles that would apply to center gas off stream, and this was one from 2007. You can go in and look. You can go in and query this in this fashion. So you see where you see these headlines here. These are actually newsletter articles where you see the numbers. Then these are the abstracts, such as the one we just saw here. And then the 01 indicates the month, the number of the abstract, and then the year. So this would be from 2007, and it's a 94-page document that you can get from NTIS. So these are the abstracts. Get back out of the abstracts. And you can search under companies, and you can search under SIC codes and things too. So you can go under industrial boilers, coal-fired, and get information. So it's another very structured and useful way to obtain the information. And we do think there's a tremendous amount of value in the structured type approach to zeroing right in on things that you know are applicable to what you're talking. If you're a particular industry, if you're in the copper iron ore industry, getting ones that are specifically on your articles on your industry are obviously quite important. So you can go in by SIC code, you can go in by geographic area, and you can see various countries of the world, and you can go into Finland, or you can go into Europe generally, and so forth there. And so here's in Finland, and this would be articles that go all the way back to 1988 that have been written about fabric filters in Finland, and those are all accessible. So you can go in and search by organized keywords. We did random keywords, but you can actually go in an organized keywords session, which is I think helpful from the standpoint of if it's organized in a way you might not pick it up with random keywords, and it also gives it to you in what we call decisive classification mode. So this would be all these things that have to do with ash handling, and this is pretty extensive, as you can see, many articles and abstracts on the ash handling. That's available as well. So those are the newsletters and abstracts that are part of this $500 package. Now there's also in here is the networking directory, and this is quite useful because you can go in here by a generic company name. If you want to see Donaldson, you can go in under Donald D, and Donaldson is going to pop up there. And you can check people in Minnesota. As you can see, there's tremendous numbers of people there, and you get their titles and their email and addresses and phone numbers for networking purposes, and we have them all over the world. So they're in China, in Pennsylvania at the Tetra Techs, which is a subsidiary that's just in the media business, in Germany and so forth here. So that is one way to go into it. It is loosely by the name, but you can click on companies alphabetically and go into AAF, American Air Filter, in corporate headquarters here in North America. And of course, we have these all over the world. So you can see that there's 81 pages of information on the companies by alphabetical, or you can search by country and get people in China. And these are people that are in one way or another involved in fabric filters in China. And you can see that this is an extensive list of companies as well. So we also have another system where we identify every one of these companies in China with a number, and also have the information in Chinese. And since companies in Shanghai are required to list themselves as Shanghai companies, it's very difficult to find a company, and then particularly when it's in Chinese, any other way. So we have a corporate number, and the information on that is explained in our free site, which identifies these companies. So these are some of the ways that you can use this whole fabric filter knowledge system. It has been a successful, well-received service since 1976, and we would look forward to having you join us. You can buy it as a single entity. You can also get it as part of a package. We have power plant air quality systems that includes 4 different newsletters and services with a number of other things as well. Thank you for spending some time to learn more about our Fabric Filter Knowledge Network. This is Bob McIlvaine. I'd be glad to answer any of your questions at any time. My phone number is 847-784-0012, extension 112. Thanks for listening.